So the anniversary Karens are trying to get GDKP banned on Era, the server that has had GDKP since forever and ever. This forum post has nearly 2,400 comments on it. A lot of those comments are from the same four people. The same four very, very sane, mentally stable people. So Suyu says, I think Blizzard is doing a good job letting us transfer to Era, which I'm glad that the transfers are there. If the transfer was not there, I would just go select, delete, and I would just delete my nearly full base Thunder Fury Warrior, and I would delete my Shaman. I would just delete my characters. I would not go to TBC. So it's good that there are transfers, but I wouldn't say it's a good job. They could do much better. That's a whole other video that will cover that. But it would be wonderful to keep playing Classic without GDKP and to have healthy raids. Ban GDKP from Era as well. So, what we have here is a player who does not play on Era, but wants GDKP's ban. That would be like me be saying, I will move to pick a country, but only if you change the law. You got to change the law, some random law. And then I'll move. It's like, what? Who are you to tell us? So AFK Buyers is like, yep, the only reason I won't create an air tune is because I don't want to join servers with pay-to-win mindsets. Excuse me. You literally were playing on Anniversary. Did you not see the pay-to-win? Did you not see people swiping left and right? You never saw a warrior week 2? Level 60 with Alcor's Razor, Lionheart Helm. What else did they have? Edge Masters. They had... Am I blanking on any other BOEs? You get the point. They had literally every possible BOE that could have been procured for their character. Literal goblins running around with these huge GDKP discords milking their servers for money. Now, I agree that there are some GDKP discords where the admin is literally making their mortgage payments, or a portion of them, from selling WoW gold that they get from GDKPs. And I don't agree with that. But that doesn't mean every single GDKP is the admin selling gold. So, but as for the pay to win mindset, that's ridiculous because Anniversary was more pay to win than ever. It was a shortened timeline. You know what I'm saying? And people were just like super sweaty. Then, of course, we have a Classic Era player arguing with them saying, no, absolutely not. GDKP is what kept Classic Era alive. You have to remember that when Classic Era was a thing, there were other things going on. There was Burning Crusade. There was Wrath of Lich King. There was Hardcore. There was Season of Mastery, Season of Discovery. There was a lot of other versions of Classic WoW. And GDKP did play a big role in people continuing to play the game. It just did. You really can't argue with that. And it's a flexible loot system, as this player says. And here's a GDKP player who never swiped, right? The majority of GDKP players do not swipe. And then, of course, they say, if you don't like it, go to Anniversary TBC. But what the previous person says is, I don't want to join a server with GDKP. It's like, you don't have to play in a GDKP raid. There are soft reserve raids. So that would be like saying, I don't want to play Anniversary because that guy's swiping. He bought Edge Masters and, he's buying all this stuff. Like, it's ridiculous, honestly. And then they say, if you've participated in a GDKP, you have swiped. Being paid in RMT to help RMTers RMT is RMTing. That's the most RMT I've seen in a sentence. That would be like saying that by going to work, pick a job, you could be just in an office typing away at a computer, going to work and getting paid a salary, That salary that you're getting paid, previously that money had been held by criminals. You're going to go cash a check. The bank's going to give you cash. You think that cash is clean? People have used that cash to pay for people to kill people. They've used that cash to buy drugs, prostitution. That cash is dirty. By working in a good, honest job, you're a part of the criminal organization. You could go to jail as well. They say, of course, the gray parsing rogue with no Nax logs wants GDKP banned. And then other people arguing against this. And so naturally, we're going to have a back and forth. Drink and Blink says, you have 113 posts in this topic alone. Desperate times, AFK buyers. Then they say, please stop attacking me. Let's stay on subject. But of course, AFK buyers has spent the last 8 hours attacking people in this thread, right? It's a person saying, actually, GDKP has kept Era alive, and then they would insult that person. So it's very funny, I guess it's not a two-way street with insults for AFK buyers. So Frostfire, he's saying some random blah, 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 blah. And in response to that, people, Gifka says, reminder, this is who you're arguing with. So when you're arguing with Frostfire, this is who you're arguing with. And clicking this link takes us to a video of Asmongold reviewing 3 years ago an image of a post that the same person made back when he had like 5,000 forum posts, and now he has like 16,000. So this guy spends a lot of time on the forum. I would even argue that these people spend more time on the forum complaining than playing the game that they're complaining about.
You have to keep in mind, if you look at this person here, they're posting on a level 61 mage, which means that they're posting on their alt character. Because if they posted on their 70 character, people would look up their logs and they would see that this person is not actually upset about parsing culture, but they're probably upset because they're so fucking garbage at the game, nobody wants to play with them because of how bad their parses are. So that's 9 times out of 10 what this actually is. It's because this person's literal trash at the game and they're complaining about it because it's holding them back because nobody wants to play with somebody that has a verified fucking, like a trash gameplay on another website.
So let's steer the conversation back to GDKP and less about memeing on these people in the forums. I made a video a while ago about the pros and cons of different loot systems because every loot system has some pros and cons to it. You have to admit there are pros to GDKP, but absolutely there are cons. So one person says, imagine you're a fresh level 60 or maybe level 70 if there's GDKP on TBC, and you're trying to join a GDKP pug. The first question they ask is, how much gold do you have? And that is true that some GDKPs will do gold checks. Not all of them do. And so remember how I told you that there are some GDKPs that are making real money? It's like a second job for them. They're making real money selling gold. They want people in the raid who have gold that are going to spend. Now, when I host a GDKP, I just want to host a raid, and if people have gold, they buy it. If they don't, they don't. I have literally had people whisper me saying, hey, I'd like to go, and they're upfront and honest with me. I just died on hardcore. I have like no gold, bro, but I want to play on Era. And I'm like, sure, come. And hey, you know what? If an item drops and no one wants it, we'll just give it to you. And we could take it out of your cut. And I tell them, hey, if it comes to it, I'll just buy the item for you. Now, GDKP hosts who are making IRL money off of hosting their GDKPs, they will not do that. They'll not say that to you. Yeah, they will. They'll just say, bugger off. You're not coming to this raid. Or if you get into the raid and you don't buy stuff, they'll kick you. I run things very differently. So that's, but I'm not the only one who's okay with people not really having gold and saying, hey man, just, we'll give you the item, but we'll keep the cut, we'll take it out of your cut, basically. Someone else says, I think GDKP would suck for new players who just hit 60 and their first raid they can't afford loot. Well, usually on Whitemane, if you level from 1 to 60, you can earn several thousand gold from just finding stuff. You could find a rare recipe that drops at low levels. Like you could get the 3 agility cloak enchant. That's almost 1,000 gold at a level 40. You can just mine and herb all these different flowers and put that on the auction house, and they sell for like 3 gold a pop. And by the time you're level 60, you're like, wow, I've got a lot of gold. And then you can start integrating and getting into a GDKPs and making smart purchases. The entry level, it's pretty easy to get into a GDKP, in my opinion. Another person here says, Dwarf Lord should try farming open world for GDKP entry, and then he'll see how rampant the botting and gold buying is. So, that I already did that. That's the funny thing. When I was playing Horde, see, all my gold was on Alliance, right? All of my gold was on Alliance. And so when I started playing on Horde, I started with a little bit of gold, just a little bit of gold. And, I'd go to ZGs and stuff, and I would buy a couple things if I could afford them, and my gold would go up a bit, and you'd enter other raids. And so I already did that. I already did what they're saying to do. Sometimes you get commenters saying things like, nope, GDKP is dumb and for losers. Wow. What a profound thought. They gave reasons. Gosh, I almost believe this person. Wow, they're very convincing. Now, you might be aware of this. I made a guild on Classic Era Whitemane for Horde and Alliance. It's a GDKP guild where we're going to be running in-house GDKP, which is very, very, very different from this whole getting new people in every week so I can pay my rent kind of, corrupt GDKP stuff. Nonetheless, a person said, that's crazy. I wanted to join, but I'm not buying my gear in a guild runs. That's no fun at all. So that's fair if you don't want to join the guild. I mean, but then they said, and then another person's like, of course guildies got to buy their gear. How else would all these people make money selling gold? So I was like, okay, you think I'm selling gold? That's ridiculous. I'm literally giving gold away for free. Everyone who joins the guild, if you're like a level 1 to 10, here's some gold, go buy some bags. And then if you're going to get like to level 60, I'm giving anyone who levels from 1 to 60 in my guild on Whitemane 1,000 gold, just to like give them a little one up, a little start. I'm not selling gold here, people. And yesterday we had our first guild run, GDKP. It was actually partially pug, partially guild, but it was really fun to have a lot of guild members in the raid, and we had a lot of good stuff drop in the AQ40. Badge of the Swarm Guard dropped. It sold for 10,000 gold. And we have a commenter here saying, you think that 10k for the badge is not a gold buyer? GDKPs are disgusting. There's no way I would transfer to Era. Not even if someone offered me gold cap when I got there. And of course, someone's responding, just join a soft reserve raid then. And the reality is that 10,000 gold is probably the cheapest badge that has ever sold. Usually they go for about 30,000 gold, which is actually not that expensive because you can make 5,000 to 10,000 gold a week running GDKPs and save up for your badge. And so imagine a DKP instead of GDKP, and how you earn points every week going to raid. How many weeks of DKP raids would you have to do to earn the points to be able to afford a badge? I would argue that it's easier to save up your points with gold and spend them on gear. 10,000 gold, I think my guild is going to have some very cheap things, which is good. I'm not looking to have things sell for 70,000 gold. In other raids, badge has sold for 70,000 gold because it's like gold buyers in that raid. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. Here's another funny comment. So Craxy, he's played on Classic Era for quite a long time and many private servers. He's a long-time vanilla gamer. And so he made a forum post. Why was the pug scene so dead on anniversary? And people mass reported him. And people respond that, well, anniversary is full of ninja looters, sketchy people, raid looters selling loot for gold. You know, why do you think mages are hard reserving plate items? Basically, there absolutely are a lot of these raids where there's some shady stuff going on. People selling SRs, that sort of thing. So while GDKP is banned, the corruptness is still very much a thing. And this other person says, well, I think it's because the GDKPs are gone because, you know, it's impossible to afford to raid on multiple characters. And, you know, while there are a lot of GDKP haters, I've received a bunch of comments like this saying, I was once the biggest GDKP hater. Now I only play GDKPs. My thoughts have changed. They never bought any gold, and they're like, you know what? Actually, GDKP is good. I used to be against GDKP. However, after being on anniversary for a while and listening to your points, it should be unbanned. In some ways, the lack of GDKP made gatekeeping more toxic and hoarding mats worse. SR runs with all the best items hard reserved, give me a break. GDKP doesn't change gold buying. Removing GDKP just makes guilds more corrupt, taking gold under the table and giving SRs. Like, check this out. Someone here has 7 soft reserves on Rejuve Gem. That is because they donated 1 flask per extra soft reserve. Imagine being like, here, let's take a flask is about 150 gold. Here's like 900 gold. Give me some extra chances to roll if this drops. And if it doesn't drop, well, keep the flasks, right? So the pug scene on anniversary has been laughable, in my opinion. And everyone's doing sleazy things to try and get ahead. SR donation, flask donation, all that kind of stuff. People selling SRs. I know people who've won an item and sold it for like 5,000 gold under the table, just on their alt so that they can afford to play on their main. All kinds of crazy stuff, man. So, yeah. By the way, in terms of my guild on Classic Era, it's growing pretty quickly on both Alliance and Horde. We did a bunch of raids this week. They've been filling fast. We've been having a blast. And so I just logged into Winter Spring and I was doing some guild invites. And then I literally bumped into one of my guild members and I thought that was really cool. You know, Classic Era really does feel like a small world and you're always bumping into people. It's only one layer on Classic Era. Anyways, my guild member wanted a shot at the king, shot at the crown. And so I dueled him, and, you know, he put up a good fight, that's for sure. But he needs some more gear, I think, before he's going to be too much of a threat here. And so he bubbles here, and I am able to interrupt it with a grenade. Then we get the intercept and an execute. So anyways, after that, I'm riding around, just looking for PvP or something out there in Winter Spring, and I run into another guild member while I was doing more guild invites. So yeah, we have almost like 200 guild members on Alliance, 100 on Horde, and more are going to join on Horde when my anniversary guild transfers over. We're voting on what day we want to do Nax, and we're going to be doing raids all the time. I was chilling in Everlook here, and another guild member just strolled up to me, and then I was on a different character and I was in town, had a bunch of guild members hanging around, and this guy from San Medina's guild, But Babe, he wanted to join, so I told him he has to quit San Medina's guild. Sorry, Mr. San Medina, but your members are joining my guild. And yeah, we invited them, and we keep on growing. So if you want to join, message me in game on one of my characters, or go and join my guild Discord. It's on Twitch. If you enjoyed the video, drop me a sub and a comment. Catch me live on my Twitch channel, Dwarf Lord TV, to connect with me or say hi to me in game on any of my characters. Dwarf Lord out.
And they say that the Dwarf Lord could save us. I'm not gonna pave here and wait. I'll hold on to the beard of the Dwarf Lord. Watch as we heroic leap away.